Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 0 of What's Your Damage? My name is Elliot Rose. I am the DM. I am also, if you go to our website, WYD Pod, I'm also referred to as the world and its problems. I'll give you a little secret. I wrote the website, or the script for the website, so I called myself that because I think it's kind of cool sounding. Anyway, the purpose of this episode 0 is kind of a primer for the world and characters as a whole. On episode 1, we decided to kind of start en media res, or in the middle of the action, because for me, I tend to get a little bit bored if the first thing that I hear is just character creation. I know that's not the same for everybody else, and I know that it can work out really well. That's just not what I wanted to do. We agreed to start after one adventure was under the group's belt. The only bad thing is that the characters had a lot of information that the listeners didn't. So we wanted to kind of rectify that and kind of give you a primer to help you know what they know, and hopefully just start in the middle of the action with a little bit of foreknowledge. So this is a 5e D&D homebrew world, meaning that this does not take place in any of the Wizards of the Coast's materials. This is not in the Forgotten Realms. This is all just straight off my dome piece. So let me give you a little idea of what that world is. In this world, there are two continents, Galea, which is where all of our action is, and the southern continent, which is called Sueño. And in Sueño, it's a ruined continent where something evil, wicked, and powerful came through and destroyed. There is not thought to be any people from Sueño still alive, however. That opinion may change soon. In Galea, there are 3 different main kingdoms: the Kingdom of Men, the Dominion of Dwarves, and the Children of the Fae, which are the elves. Most of the action thus far takes place in the Kingdom of Men. And in the Kingdom of Men, on this main landmass, there are 5 different nations named after 5 different colors. There is the Red Nation to the west, the Prismatic Nation to the north, the Blue Nation in the center, the Green Nation to the east, and the Purple Nation in the south. Each of the nations has a knight. So, Red Knight, Prismatic Knight, Blue Knight, Green Knight, Purple Knight. In addition, there is a Prismatic Queen. So she is kind of like the president, whereas the knights are governors, right? Mountain ranges are typically where the dwarves live. The biggest one is called Mount Quarg, which is where the dwarven capital city, Ulaanbaatar, is located. And to the east of the Green Nation, abutting the Prismatic Nation and the Purple Nation, is the Children of the Fae's forest. The interesting thing about the Children of the Fae, or the elves, is that about 50 years ago, they had an insurrection. They had a group of highly skilled fighters called the Bladesingers, who started what's called the Bladesinger War. The Bladesingers were defeated and driven out of the Children of the Fae, and peace has reigned for the last 50 or so years. However, there is some talk that they may be coming. So here are the most important Bladesingers for you guys to know. There's Alan Noir. He is the former king of the Bladesingers, now deceased. There is a general named Anelian who was lost, who's unaccounted for. There is a female Bladesinger named Gaia who actually turned against her brethren and worked with the Kingdom of Men and the Dominion of Dwarves. She was trying to hunt Evangeline and Raz, but she went into retirement. And lastly, there is Evangeline and Raz, who are the most feared, still active Bladesingers, although they are in hiding. Although there is word that they will be disrupting the ceremony of colors when the current Prismatic Queen steps down. All of this leads us to our adventurers. Our adventurers start in the Purple Nation, in the capital city of Sages. They work for Shalaban, the Purple Knight, one of the candidates to take over for the Prismatic Queen. Our adventurers are Okot. She is a quote-unquote human rogue, trained assassin. She has her hair done up in 2 large buns, and she also has 2 very distinct blades. You've probably seen it on the cover art. They are daggers that look like middle fingers. We also have Jorix, a human cleric from the Blue Nation, a cleric of the sun and secretly the moon. And he does something very unique. He wears sunglasses, probably the only person in this nation that wears sunglasses, and that's because of his eyes. His eyes, one of them looks like a sun, and the other looks like a moon, but it follows the phases of the moon, so he prefers to avoid drawing attention to himself. Next up, we have Sylvester. He is a druid from the Underdark, or whatever Galea's equivalent of the Underdark would be, who is an old man, and he has a peculiar preference for spiders, we'll say. He's a lot of fun. And last but not least, we have Burke the Dwarf, a dwarven fighter from Mount Quarg, where the main capital of the Dominion of Dwarves is. Before he became an adventurer, he had a career in backyard wrestling or back mountain wrestling, and he was part of a tag team called the Mountain Boys, and his partner was another dwarf named Gustus Goldhammer. You can hear Burke from time to time yelling out the Mountain Boy call. The group, Okot, Jorix, Sylvester, and Burke, have already had an adventure, and they are coming back to the Purple Nation to talk to Shalaban and get their next mission. That's where episode 1 starts. Anyway, with that primer, I hope that helps. I hope you enjoy. I promise you, the podcast is much more fun when it's not just me talking into a microphone. If you liked what you heard, please consider following us on Twitter at WYDpod, on Facebook at WYDcast, or you can go to our website, wydpod.com. Also, if it's not too much trouble, if you could please consider leaving us a iTunes review. It helps people find the podcast, and plus, it's just kind of nice. Thank you for listening, and never forget, gnomes are simply the greatest adventurers in the world.